30-second take name tonight. Heads up, a little misleading. We're going to do something we've never done in the show's history. We're going to intentionally give everyone a little bit more time. We talked a little bit about this before tonight. We got some great stories for you. I promise it'll be worth it. But we still have a mute button. So before I tell you the topic, it's 60-second takes, maybe not 60 minutes. We don't need to go crazy. We're just going to go over 30 to get the content in. But what we want to talk about is what your favorite sports moment was. Now, this isn't your typical, like, the Cavs won the championship on Father's Day. We want to hear about a personal note, not Raji Davis's home run, unless you were there with your dad and there's some reason it's really deeply connected to you. But what is your deep personal or special sports moment as an individual? Since we're skipping the timer, we don't have to worry about getting it teed up. But Noah, why don't you get us started and tell us what your favorite sports moment is on a personal note?
Yeah. So, as it has been talked about on the show before, I am a part time Cleveland Cavaliers employee. So, I get a lot of interaction with our Cleveland Cavaliers. So, fittingly, I wore a Cavs shirt tonight to tell my story. My story is very simple. It won't take 3 years like Eric's probably will or John's probably will, knowing you two and how much you guys talk.
Shots fired.
But I want to shout out a guy that is no longer in the wine and gold, George Niang, because he gave me one of my most favorite moments as a Cavs employee in the season and a half that I've done this. We wear those beautiful baby blue jerseys this season in conjunction with the Cleveland Museum of Art. So when we wear those jerseys, there's a different intro, Moondogs painting. There's a big painting, right? I was responsible for helping carry out this big ass painting for the game that I worked when it was one of these Jersey nights. And we get the painting on the floor. We're right at the baseline. And, they're still doing their shoot around because we bring it out early. So we're prepped. And George Niang comes out of nowhere, grabs a basketball, points at me, points at my friend Devin, who's been on the show before, cocks the ball back like he's going to throw it through the painting, and pump fakes us. Obviously, we knew he was kidding, and then just starts laughing, gives us a pat on the back, and goes to the shoot around. One of the coolest, just like, yeah, I'm supposed to be here moments in terms of my Cleveland fandom and Cleveland sports career, I guess, even though it is a part-time career. So that's my story.
I like it, Noah. That's a cool moment. You got some behind the scenes intel, what it's like to work for the Cavs, being down on the court, horsing around with the players. I like it. E, what do you got?
I'll take it a little bit of a different way. So, you guys know, and most of my friends know that when I was 15, I had cancer. It was bad, stage 4B. But one of the cooler things that arose from that, this is 2007, was in October, everything was finishing up. So that from like May to October was some of the worst times of my life. But I was getting through it. I was good. And then I had the opportunity to throw out the first pitch for what was then the Indians playoff game against the Yankees. And I threw out the first pitch. Behind me was Queen Latifah. So I got to hang out with her for a little bit. She's super down to earth, super cool. There's a picture of us holding the balls together. Noah can throw up in a sec. But I went out there. I threw the first pitch. She was cool. Little funny aside, though. Afterwards, we're sitting watching the game. This is the Jabba Midge game, by the way, where he was attacked. And we went on to win in part because of that. But afterwards, we're watching the game, and me and my parents are sitting in a row, and behind us is Queen Latifah, her security people, and then Craig Sager, because they were going to throw it to Craig to, give the little interview with her. He was super cool as well. Well, a foul ball comes our way, and it lands in the row in front of me and my parents. Mind you, I had just thrown out the first pitch with Queen Latifah. My dad dives like he's never seen a foul ball in his life, gets it, comes up with it. And, they were joking, like Queen Latifah's like, man, your son has a ball already, you're going hard for that. But it was a good time and a good moment amidst the chaos that was that summer.
Yeah, I love that one too, Ian. We don't have a chance to say it, but I know it's a while in the past. But congrats again on beating that son of a bitch cancer. The world is
Glad
better
you're here,
with you
man.
in it, brother. So we're glad you're here for sure.
Love you guys.
Love you too, man.
Mine's a little bit sentimental too. So mine goes to the Cavs. It was the championship season, so we're going back in time. As you guys know, I have 4 daughters. They're all getting really old. At this time, I only had 3. Michaela, who's now about to graduate college, was 13. Maxine was 5. Julia's 3. Their school gets this thing where they can do the Scream Team tunnel to greet the players as they run out. But in typical pro sports fashion, you got to be there like 3 hours before tip-off. They got to go down a dark hallway and wait in the bowels of the stadium, and the parents can't go. So I'm sending a 13-year-old in charge of 2 kids under the age of 5, and I'm giving them the dad, don't touch anything, don't say anything, don't do. And my kids are really, really well behaved, but I'm like, you can never be too sure. So they get down there. We wait the 2 hours and 45 minutes. The team's getting ready to come out. They walk out in their T-shirts, and I'm like beaming, right? I'm like, my kids are on the court. Everything's going well. They're not touching anything. I sip my beer, high five a dad next to me, and turn around. And the 5-year-old has broken ranks, has walked to the Cavs bench, and is pulling one of the assistant coach's suit jackets, who's trying to get the bench ready for the game. So I'm like mortified, right? I'm 150 feet away. I'm like, what the actual hell is going on right now? I told you not to touch anything. But then I see some chaos. I see a couple towel boys run out. They grab the towels. They start wiping the floor. Well, one of the other kids on the Scream Team little tunnel got a little nervous and had a little too much to drink and pissed his pants in the middle of the court, right where the team was supposed to come out.
Okay.
My kids saw it, contacted an adult, got it wiped up, and when I say a tenth of a second before Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving ran through that spot, it couldn't have been more than 5 seconds. Now, if you know how injury-prone Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving were during that run, you know that a slip-on piss in the middle of the season could have ended the entire run. So my special sports memory is that in my own little way, my girls saved the Cavs championship season because all was dry and all was well. And all the pee got wiped up off the floor. But that was a pretty fun day and a pretty funny moment.
That's is
wild.
fantastic.
I think she deserves
love
a ring, honestly.
She deserves a ring. I got to email Dan. Hopefully we get another one this year. She'll have her pick.
I'll have my own at that point. You know what I mean?
There you go. That's what I'm talking about.
do.
Go.
Even as part-time, I'd have a ring. I will be so ignorant with that ring on this show. I will have it on no matter what for the eternity. And it's not even so. I don't know if you guys know this. The rings that they give out, there's
The
like
tiers,
to
yeah.
it.
There's
Yeah.
like 3
Okay.
or 4, yeah.
Yeah, you're not getting the diamonds. You're not getting the
$150 one. Then there's like the 30
Yeah.
grand one that the player, like the coaches and assistants, and then there's the players and the main coach that get like the full blown.
Yeah,
$100
I will be
grand or-
getting the silver-plated cubic zirconia bullshit, but god darn it, I didn't want to swear twice back to back. I will be wearing that ring on the show
Hey.
religiously. Birdman hand
Ring's
rubbing
a ring,
all.
baby.
Yes,
Yeah, those
sir.
rings, the 95% of the value of those rings has nothing to do with how much they're intrinsically worth. It's what you had to do to get there.
100%.
I'm not saying I sold a bunch of them from China during our first championship, ordered like 10, and so they were like 50 cents a pop, $2 a pop, and sold them for like around 150. I'm not saying I did that, but I'm saying if I did, I'm probably going to stock up again this year if we win.
As you should, King. As
He's
you
got-
should.
He's got the OJ, if I did it, here's how book. Like, I'm not saying I did it.
That's crazy.
Go get in my Bronco now.
Yeah. Fun little fact, too, about championship rings before we move on. I don't know how it's changed with NIL, but because athletes were considered amateurs until a few years ago, national championship rings for college are fake, too. I don't think they could cost more than $500. So the national championship meant a lot to Alabama, regardless of the fact that Saban's rings aren't actually gold. I think he actually had some made in gold for himself, but you get the point. The players didn't.
That's
That
crazy.
makes
I didn't know
sense.
that actually,
'Cause-
but it makes sense for sure with
You see them
amateurism.
pop up now and again for sale. Players will sell them, and they're not. I mean, they're expensive, but they're not. Yeah, 50 grand or whatever. So that makes sense.
Yeah, you want an NFL
Sure.
Super Bowl ring, it's going to set you back a lot more.